Thanks a lot for staying with us here on Prime Morning. It's time for us to take a look at News Flash here. Koko Asante returns again tomorrow with fellow Ghanaians. And we'll say a big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise, Store Phones, Papa Pathie, Koa Naturals, also supporting us this morning as we bring you News Flash. Always make sure that you're getting your gadgets from Franco Trading Enterprise. It's the best place you can ever get. And we've got your phones, we've got your home appliances. If you want blenders, microwaves, your air conditionings, your televisions, all of that, you can purchase them from Franco Trading Enterprise. Quality is what we're talking about, of course, the best of customer service. And also you get to win some, amazing prizes for yourself anytime you shop at Franco Trading Enterprise. Now, we've got amazing discounts for you as well. You never can tell. You might just walk in there and walk away with some discount. And that's what Franco Trading Enterprise is doing for many people out there. Make sure you also get your CCTV cameras from them as well, just so you are able to manage your time when you're out from your homes and your offices. You can still see what's happening over there. It's very, very important. Franco Trading Enterprise says still, phones, Papa Pathie. What you can do is to download the app. So go on your phone right now, Google Play Store, and download the app. It's the Franco Trading app, and you're good to go. Also, the website is www.francotrading.com, and that's where you can also, get all the info that you need as far as Franco Trading Enterprise is concerned. Don't forget, do not pick numbers on social media to do business with us. Once you download the app, you get every way that you can communicate with us on the app. And so just download the app this morning, and you're good to go. Franco Trading Enterprise says still, phones, Papa Pathie. Now you want to discover the authentic taste of Ghana with Koa Natural Fruit Juice. That's what you need if you are going about your daily activities today. Enjoy a fresh taste from cocoa with Koa Natural, a very healthy juice that is made from the white pulp that surrounds the cocoa beans. This drink here is for you, it's for your families, for your loved ones, it's for everyone out there. So please do well and grab one for yourself as you get yourself going today. Naturally refreshing and stimulating every taste bud. Koa Natural is proudly Ghanaian. It's made right here in GH. It's good for you, and it's good for the Ghanaian cocoa farmer as well. Koa Naturals also supporting us. They say, do right, sip by sip. All right, we're going to be getting into the front page of the newspapers. And then we'll look at our substantive issues that we want to tackle this morning. Do well to send your messages to us and let us know what you think about them. And my guests have joined me already. So let me try quickly and walk through the front pages of the newspapers. I've got the Chronicle here this morning. The Chronicle says that the police retrieve electrical materials from former MP's house. And on the front page, Engindam prays Supreme Court quashed the High Court judgment, but Justice Pomanga questions reliance on Article 99. And that's on the front page. Police in Landmark arrest man goes in for 20 years, alleged rapist remanded. That's also captured by the Chronicle this morning. Vote for Kennedy Japan. For him, MP urges delegates as we get closer and closer to the primaries of the NPP, where we get to find out who exactly will be leading the party in the 2028 elections. That's also captured on the front page of the Chronicle. Daily Justice here, and it says, who is behind GRA's 17 million Ghana cedis sweet oil deal? There's a big question mark over there. You can read about it in the Daily Gist. Shrag probes theft track over new GRA Kanda office contract. And away from that, MPP moves to expel Frimpong Boateng over anti-party activities. And how Ofuriatta ended in U.S. detention, the inside story. We also looking at the Supreme Court pushes Pandai election dispute to January 28, and 55% of Ghanaians back Baumia for 2028, says poll. All right, so that's the Daily Gist this morning, reporting on some issues. Now, away from that, the Economy Times is here, and it says Ghana to issue a 10 billion Ghana cedis infrastructure bonds in 2026, and Pelican Hotel sets a new benchmark for Ghanaian hospitality. The Economy Times speaks on that, and it says affordable first-class luxury at the heart of Accra. And away from that, Ghana's economic stability, Gold Board's contribution for resilient growth. That's also reported by the Economic Times for today. Away from that, the Accra Times is here, and it says, the Ghana we want is achievable. President Mahama says so. And be bold in your thinking, UNIMAC Vice Chancellor urges students. And also, University Dons laud the Gold Board on macroeconomic benefits. And Amadou Sorogo is chairman of the NFC, pledges strategic leadership. NPA boss speaks at 77th New Year School and Conference. That's also captured by the Accra Times. Away from that, the Ghanaian publisher is here, and it says the Kanda election case is set for ruling on 28th of January. And the NPP fed up with Frimpong Boateng initiate moves to expel him. And Nato Shitu NPP delegates only can deliver 2028 victory. Away from that, governance analyst flags issues at myth and Omajo land dispute. Okelo Sowad family denies political backing, and that's also on page 4 of the Ghanaian publisher. So you can grab a copy and read all about that also. That brings to the end of the newspapers that we have today here on Newsflash. And we're going to get into major stories. Now, SHS P.E. and Health Manual, that issue has been going on for a while now. There has been a recall, but we're going to be looking at what exactly this means. And also, we'll try and delve into the issue of Frimpong Boateng, the professor who believes that the NPP party now is fake. Now, he says he's not going anywhere. The fake people should leave the party and not him. We'll look at that. And also, if we have time, we'll probably look at the Ken Oforiatta's issue. Now, Frank Davis is actually accusing government of double standards. He says that they should pursue the issue of setting up instead of putting all their focus on Ken Oforiatta this morning. So those are some of the things that we may probably, if we have time, delve into. But don't forget, you can send your thoughts to us. WhatsApp line is active. We're streaming live on Facebook as well. You can also send your messages there. I'm going to have time and read your messages today. I promise you that. I think we've done so not so bad, the last few days. Just like last week we were not able to do so much, but I'll try and do much of your messages this morning, so please keep them coming. My guests are seated, and I've got over here this morning. Richard Suma is here with me. He's the Deputy General Secretary for the United Party. Rich,
yeah.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning,
brother?
Nice seeing you. Another beautiful Wednesday morning.
And how's the United Party, you guys?
Yeah, we are. We're doing great. Yeah, we're doing
all right.
Great.
Still forging ahead?
Oh, yeah. Building a party is not a one-day wonder. You need to put the structures in place that will make you a formidable political party. So, as a matter of fact, we are building a party that will ultimately become a party of choice in the few months or years to come. Okay,
very well. Thank you. I wish you the very best. And thanks for the time this morning. I appreciate it. And also, my brother, Fad Usman is here with me this morning. He's the communications team member for the NPP. And Happy New Year. It's the first time seeing you this year, right? Happy New Year, my brother. How's it going?
And I believe you had your birthday 2 days ago. So let me use the opportunity to happy belated birthday. I was watching you, I follow you around everywhere.
Bad man.
Yeah, I'm not a bad man.
I'm very angry with all the politicians anyway.
Why? Probably our brothers in government should have come to our aid and rescued all of us in this regard, right? So
Julius will be answering that.
See how convenient he pushed it to us.
So let me wish our viewers a happy New Year. It's been a wonderful year. I believe, if you permit me, just a second or 2 minutes to use the opportunity to convey a message. My brother is here to the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The young people of this country, and for that matter, the unemployed young people of this country, trooped out in their numbers, that was 7th December 2024, to vote for him. Not because he was overly handsome or probably nice looking. They voted for him because he made some promises, significant promises, that we had a lot of jobs in this country. And all that it required was to turn on the clock. So Memuna in Tamale will enjoy the afternoon shifts, whilst SNM in Volta region will enjoy the night shifts. 1 year into his administration, the clock is still off. So the young people of this country this morning, through me, are pleading with my brother here that if the batteries powering the clocks are dead, the young people of this country are willing and ready to commit their own resources to buy him some Energizer batteries to ensure that the clock comes on, to have the 3 shifts. You remember the 1-3-3 formula.
It's taken off this year.
One job, 3 shifts, 3 people. I believe it is something that really got him a lot of votes. So we look forward to see its implementation, full implementation
this year.
Because we saw a document that was launched last year. And in that document, my brother, if you read the document, all you make out of the document is what we call the wishful thinking. Wishful thinking with figures like 750,000 jobs to be created this year, 1.6 million jobs to be created by the end year 2028, 5 million jobs to be created end year 2035. These are wishful thinkings with no direct financial mechanisms to support those claims. So we really want to see some actions, not the sugar-coated words. Normally, we know who he is. President John Mahama, we all know he's a communicator, a very fine one for that matter. So we are calling on him this morning. To my brother, he's a very young man. That please, the young people out there who voted for him in December 2024, really voted for him not because he was overly handsome, as I indicated, or not because he was nice looking, but because of the promises he made to them. And I think it is important he fulfills such promises. Thank you very much.
Very well, thank you.
Our brother Julius gear into different dimensions this morning.
And
he shifted gear into different dimension this morning.
Yes, that was expected of the NPP.
Of course.
Because the young people of this country,
they can barely,
because of jobs.
Yeah, happy New Year to you too. You know, I've not been here this year, so let me use the opportunity to use to wish our listeners and to also wish you a happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Of course, I agree with my brother when he says that the young people of this country voted for jobs, but they did not only vote for jobs, they voted for a stable macroeconomic environment. They voted for prompt payment of statutory funds. They voted for no fee stress. They voted for an economy that was on the brink of collapse at a point that, you know, we had inflation at a tune of 54%. Today, it is, my friend, inflation under you was at a point of 54%. You left it at 23.8, but it was at a point at 54%. They voted for a business environment that can thrive, where our currency does not become the harbinger of doom for business transactions in this country. It rose at some point, under the administration to 17%. They left it at 14.7. Today, it is 10.5. They voted for no fee stress. They voted for the uncapping of the NHIL, which people go to the hospital and they get trapped because the NHIL...
Just implement please, 133.
You know, when you were speaking, I respected...
I'm sorry.
I respected...
Just implement the
I respected you and allowed you to speak. You should do that. I don't know why you are...
I'm sorry.
So we have to go... Oh yeah, of course, we'll go to the substantive...
You're not having a conversation.
Yeah. You are disrespectful.
I'm sorry.
They voted for all these things to change. They voted for lower fuel prices at the pump. They voted for lower transportation costs when they are commuting in town. And I can report to you, my brother, in all sincerity, and the data bears me out. And as I always say, that if sanity would prevail, we would not deny obvious fact. Today, the dollar is down from 14.7 to 10.5. Inflation, they left it at 23.8. It is down to what? 5.4. A record achievement. In fact, the NDC administration itself set a target for ourselves at 11.5 at end of year 2025. We achieved 5.4. It is a tremendous record. The CD appreciated against the dollar 41%. It has never happened in the history of the Fourth Republic. In fact, some analysts say that the last time they saw that is in the 1970s. Some analysts say that you do not leave these things behind. And a government that has adopted fiscal prudence in handling the economy so far. The energy sector, I've not even touched there. You left it in junk. We were owing debts in tremendous amount. In fact, when we were leaving office, Abua Papu was telling us that immediately we take over power, there will be doom so. And you know who he was? He was working at Ghana Gas as director for corporate affairs. So he's in the thick and thin of the energy sector and knew precisely what the MPP was leaving behind. And so he told us that we will be facing doom so imminently. President John Dramani Mahama stood in Parliament and told the people of Ghana that I will face this problem head on and I'll keep the lights on. The lights are on today.
Okay, Julius, wrap that for me.
Yeah, today we have secured again the World Bank's guarantee of $500 million, which under them, because of several defaults, we lost that guarantee. I mean, how do you bypass all of this and come to the studio this morning, and instead of acknowledging the failures that you have left behind and the tremendous changes and successes that have been achieved since you have left office, you have come in with complaints. I relate with the plight of any young person anywhere in this country today who may be jobless by reason of the maladministration for years. But I can assure them that under John Dramani Mahama, we are turning the clock. We have achieved fiscal consolidation. It is a year of growth going forward, and they would all be satisfied.
All right, very well. Richard, it will be unfair for me to move on without you also having some 2 minutes to do
just a minute.
So please do it. A minute to
Yeah, sincerely, I also like to, the show has started, so let me also use this opportunity to say good morning to my co-panelists, to all the people of Whole Central this morning, to my good friend Kobe Tando. He is the CEO of LC Petroleum. I wish you a very beautiful good morning today, and to the entire leadership of the United Party. Well, you see, it is difficult to hear the kettle calling the pot calling the kettle so very dark. Because you see, job creation is a progressive, systematic approach where we can be able to, based on data, and say that we created this quantum of jobs within the last 8 years when we had the opportunity. Thereafter, those that are still in active business or in active job placements, there are this amount of people. So you see, the job creation menace that is in this country, no single political party can resolve that problem. You understand? I sincerely want to appreciate the point that my brother is posing, that look, people queue to vote for you, and most of them, when they vote for you, it is about personal interest. And what is the main personal interest? It's always about job. How accessible a job? How do you create an environment for us to be able to capitalize on it and improve on our businesses? The macro indicators can be good, but the micro indicators is what really matters, because the micro is what comes to the household level. So whilst we are talking about macro stability, we should also constantly look up how is the macro stability snowballing into micro stability, which is really directly affecting people and their finances. Yes, fuel is a major indicator as to how our daily life is governed. Because you see, that is the wheel upon which everything runs in this country. Only globally, everything runs on fuel. So, assuming, I can bet my last person, assuming that maybe NPP is still in power, perhaps even the fuel had dropped on the international market, they will still not let us enjoy that respite. They will still not. They will have used all machinations to make sure we are still buying fuel at 15 cities per liter and all this. So as a matter of fact, let us give the NDC government an ample time. If this year, because it's media, that's why in America they do midterm election. You understand? If for the first 24 months of your 4 years, you do not deliver, then we can go after you hard enough. But if after 12 months and we want to create the impression that you need to solve the country's entire problem, then we are not being very sincere and objective-minded individuals. So let us give them ample time. And this year, if they are not able to create sufficient jobs, we hold them to their own ways.
Very well. Thank you very much. You can also join us with your messages, and you can send them to our WhatsApp line. We're also streaming live on Facebook, so you can also go there and leave your messages. We'll do well to read them today here on the show. Newsflash is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise and also Koa Natural Fruit Juice supporting us this morning as well. Please do well and grab one for yourself as you go about your daily activities today, and walk into any Franco Trading Enterprise branch and make sure that you also grab something from there. Franco Trading says phone we're taking our attention to the SHS Physical Education and Health Manual, which has brought a lot of controversy the last 48 hours or so, 24 hours or so, and this is the release that they put together. I'm going to go into that, but let me just, by way of you understanding what exactly we're looking at this morning, NACA has recalled the SHS Physical Education and Health Teachers Manual over gender controversy, and it says the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment, NACA, has directed all teachers in possession of hard copies of the SHS Physical Education and Health Teachers Manual to return them immediately. The move follows concerns over a controversial definition of gender identity in the manual, which is currently in use in schools. NACA Board Chairman Professor Vincent Asanful confirmed the directive in an interview with Adum News, and says he explained that a comprehensive review of the curriculum is underway, covering education from the basic to the secondary level to ensure it aligns with Ghanaian values while maintaining educational integrity. Now, this is where the problem is. Now, the manual defines gender identity as a person's deeply felt eternal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond to the sex assigned at birth. It also notes that gender may include being male, female, or a blend of both, going beyond extremely binary concept. Professor Asafo assured that the review will not focus solely on the gender identity section, but will take a critical look at the entire manual to ensure clarity and appropriateness. Now, this is the problem. So there are two of these curriculum that are always released, and according to the NACA, the one that has the whole interpretation of what gender means is what the teachers have. That is what they call the teacher's manual. So what the students are using do not have explicitly what the teachers have in terms of the definition of what gender is all about. So that's the case they are making for this very issue. But then again, the issue is if a teacher decides that what I have is truly what I have to look at in making sure that I'm able to discharge my whatever duties that I have to discharge in terms of teaching these children, decides that he's going to go explicit. Because NACA will not be there to actually say, oh, they want to regulate whatever the teacher has read from his point or his own curriculum and then go and teach. If he decides to go and then be explicit, how do you control that? And that is what Ghanaians are asking. The questions everybody is asking now is, it is not still safe to say that, oh, what the teachers have do not have what the students are, possibly also reading. And so it's not an issue. But then, of course, there has been a recall with regards to that. So that's what we are looking at this morning here on the show. Richard, how do you feel? We've been battling the issue of LGBT. I mean, we've tried as much as possible to let it stay from our children. Even Parliament is still yet to go ahead with what we have to do with regards to, explicitly stating that LGBT is a problem in this country. Mm-hmm. And now we find it in the curriculum of students in the SHS.
Well, this issue is of a national interest.
Yeah.
And I sincerely believe that we have come of age as a people. And we have all come to admit that, yes, in as much as we believe that there is freedom of right, there is freedom of choice, there is freedom of everything, we still believe in the fundamental principles that underpin our cultural values. Globally, everybody can decide to interpret gender in whatever way and form and shape they prefer. But you must always define that to suit your own understanding and appreciation of your culture, principles, and values. Therefore, if anybody should go try to explain to us or give a teacher's manual like you really indicated,
the
supplementary manual or whatever they call it, is what guides the teacher to say that per the definition of this subject matter, this is your guide, this is what you should use to interpret whatever it is to the students for them to appreciate the values and principles or the depth of whatever you are trying to explain to them. So the teacher is equally very important. So now, if you go for such a manual, give it to teachers. And what baffles me is that how come this was printed without any proper due diligence? For it to be then or distributed, and later you said you are recalling it. We are not a serious group of people if that is the way we want to go about things. Because from the very definition of what is written there, that it is about feeling, expression of feeling. What is the expression of feeling all about? Definition of gender is all about male and female. But yes, we know that some people who are bigender, bisexual, from birth they carry both organs. But even that one, we call it an abnormality. It's not normal. It's a complete abnormal. For somebody to carry two genders from birth, that is why sometimes they go further to do surgical operation. You either choose one or you can't maintain the two because it's not right. So as a matter of fact, my only challenge is about who edited it, who supervised the printing. If NACA, their core mandate is to look at curriculum, why should NACA sit there for a curriculum that is meant for senior high schools should be developed and a teacher's handnote is picked out of the curriculum, isn't it? So if a teacher's handnote is picked out of the curriculum and then there's a complete distortion of definition of gender as to the fact that even there are various differences. What are the various differences? What are the various differences? So it's just very important that we look at this issue and prevent it from happening. Because this thing happened during the SHS P.E administration. where, you know, it was a big issue that, a curriculum has been put out there, and now the NPP government is trying to do what? Support LGBTQ agenda. Ali, they also stood their grounds and defended it tooth and nail that no, that is not the issue. Today, it is the turn of NDC, and this same issue is really its ugly head again. But the point is that, what is our stand as we speak today on LGBTQ? What is our stand? When the government took over, the president said that yes, the bill that was transferred to the then president for him to assent to criminalize this LGBTQ wasn't done. Therefore, they have asked Parliament. Now they are not even looking at private member bill, but they want a government-sponsored bill, where it will be a government position that we are not in full support of LGBTQ. But still, don't forget, there are so many underlying global factors that are still having external control on our economies. And it's a bare fact. From the days of Professor Atta Mills, you remember that Britain gave him a condition that before we can even sponsor you, you need to accept some of this and say, to hell with your money, we are not interested. So it beats my mind that no government is really willing to hold this issue by the ball and say, like, enough of it. Let us go past the bill and then look at the bill. If there are some amendments have to be done in it, if there are some issues that we look at, especially I'm against complete incarceration of people. If you incarcerate somebody for indulging in such an activity and you take him to inside one prison where it is even much more festering over there, what are you going to do? Are you promoting it or you are trying to depromote it? If you want to promote it, then we should look at alternative punishment regimes, okay, and be able to shame people who are getting themselves involved in these kinds of attitude. But as a matter of fact, I'm only appealing to NACA that don't sit on your mandate, because if you look at the mandate of NACA, they are responsible for assessing all curriculums in this country, including teachers' handbook. Including teachers' handbook, because teachers' handbook, like I said, is also emanates from what? The curriculum. So the definition they are putting out there is not good, and we need to instill discipline in our children to let them understand that we cannot entertain LGBTQ in this country. Okay. If you are a productive country, you are a self-sufficient country, a self-dependent country, why should these things find their way into your teacher's handbook? Who placed it there in the first place? Who put it there? Whose definition is that? Whose interpretation of gender is that? Is it AI generated? Or somebody actually wrote it? And if you were writing it, he wasn't in the right frame of mind to write that and to say that there are different expressions of it. That is a pure promotion of LGBTQ, and you are trying to instill it in students. But I would not want to admit that the government is doing any sort of quid pro quo with anybody anywhere to say that we are going to foster LGBTQ so that you can fund our government. I sincerely don't believe in that. Okay. It's a systemic issue. We need to look at it, and we need to hold people accountable so that going forward, this thing should not happen again. We should explicitly define what gender is, and nobody must come to change it. Not today, nor in the nearest future.
Very well, thank you, Richard. Fad, let me have your take on that.
I thought you take government stake. Then I have my...
No, I want to have your take.
Oh, this has nothing to do with government. This is a
national issue and not the government issue.
The government didn't write the handnote.
In the first place.
The government didn't write the handnote.
Oh, is that the case?
The government didn't write it.
Who wrote it?
The government controls what comes out of that.
Who wrote it? No, who wrote it? I wrote it from the...
It's the Ghana Education, but no.
From the MTP headquarters.
No. It doesn't matter.
Let's not do
I don't know why.
Julius, go ahead.
You see, it's very interesting.
But don't buy too much.
That after elections, there is no campaign, right? That's the whole argument. After elections, there is no campaign. So today we can sit back here and have these discussions with that nationalistic cap on. Right.
Just like Richard did. No, I don't know how.
I'm not going to play politics. Trust me, I'm not going to play politics. What I'm saying is that after elections, there is no campaign right after elections. But the truth of the fact is that let's also not discuss this in isolation from what happened in the previous administration when it comes to the LGBTQ plus issues. We cannot do that. We need to put them together and discuss them. Why am I saying this? Prior to election 2024, one of the biggest blows that the NPP suffered in the Muslim communities specifically, I'm from the Muslim community, I'm using that as an example, specifically, was a deliberate campaign launched by the opposition then against the candidates of the NPP who is a Muslim, right? If you go to the Muslim community, it's still there. And the propaganda is still down there. That the MPP supports LGBT activities. And as a result of that, they were being reluctant in passing the bill into law. That was the campaign they made against him. And they also went further to say that if he wins presidency, he's going to promote the activities of such immoral acts. And you see, we the Muslim, or we coming from the Muslim community, whenever you make these claims down there, my brother, it becomes very difficult to go back and clean it from their minds. It's still there. We hope and pray that today they will see through the light.
But that is the job of your candidates.
Then, please respect.
To let the people believe that, yes, this is what opposition is saying, but this is not what it is.
I'm saying so.
Is that not supposed to be the job of your candidates
so today,
and your communications
today we are here. When President Mahama took over, I think the first week he took over, right? If my brother can help me with the exact date, he met some religious leaders, right? And a question was put to him on this same issue. And if you pay attention to what he said, this is what he said. He said, if we are teaching our values in school, we would not need to pass a bill to enforce our family values. That is why I think more than ever, the family value bill is as agreed on a curriculum that inculcates these values into our children as they are growing up, so that we don't need to legislate it. You see his position he took first week in office. So if in less than 1 year there is this document out there, I'm not entirely surprised this is coming up today. Because if the leader of this administration, first week in office, made these claims that we don't need to necessarily legislate a bill to stop such immoral acts, but we need to put it into our education systems to teach these values. And today, this same administration presents a document, right, through its agencies in charge of education. It's telling us that today, based on their definition of gender, it goes beyond just being male or female, or it goes beyond gender at birth, but how you feel, how you see yourself. And you can wake up in the morning to say that today I'm a man, in the afternoon you're a female, or you're a woman. That is basically what this document is saying. We can sugarcoat the words, we can try to create all the narrative to make it look like this is not what they are trying to tell our children. And that is where the worry comes from. This is the most dangerous path we can even take as a nation. Why do I say so? I have held this position, and I believe on this same platform, I've made it known to our viewers that I do not have any problem with what you choose to do in the four walls of your bedroom. I have no problem with that. But my problem will be that you will bring it out in our classrooms. I have a daughter who will come back from school and tell me that today my teacher taught me that I can decide to be a boy. That is where my concern is. And that is exactly what this document seeks to do. So that is why we all need to be worried on this table. Whether I'm coming from the MPP and I'm sounding politically, that is my choice of way of going on this matter. But then the main issue is that we all need to be worried as a country. Because if we can allow this document to go out there and now we call it back. My brother, are you telling me that this document, just like my brother from the UP said, that was it typed, it was typed, edited, we gave it to somebody to review it before it even went out. Are you telling me there's no process like that? That all these documents, somebody can sit in a small office, just write them and just share it out to teachers? Is that what...
So this was deliberate?
It was.
And not an oversight?
I have given you the premises. The president in his first week in our administration gave us a clue that we don't need a law, but we need to teach our kids on these family values. So this is how they define the family values. I'm not the one saying it. It is what the evidence is showing this morning. So Ghanaians this morning, yes, the MPP, we know we are still suffering from the major defeats, so people tell us that, oh, goodwill is not on your side. It is true. Let's put all politics aside, and let's look at this issue from the same way my brother advised, from the nationalistic point of view. If a government could start on this note, a government in opposition, through its members, Honorable, what's the name? Sam George, I greet him this morning, made a whole lot of noise across this country, demonstrations across this country, calling on religious leaders to get up, rise up against this Akufo-Addo administration. Akufo-Addo was a tyrant. Akufo-Addo was insensitive, right? That's what the words he used. Forgive me, Mr. President Akufo-Addo, for repeating the same on you this morning. It is very painful that after winning power, you turn back and tell us that laws are not necessary. We need to teach our children in school. Admitted. And this is what you're going to teach them? My brother, are you not concerned? So this is a very major concern. See, even with the laws, my brother here did very well in giving us the details of what the law even promotes. Putting somebody in Sawan prison, we all know where boys and men are crowded like that. Some of these things even happens there more than what we see out here. So with that, I don't even want to go there. But my major concern is that I don't want my daughter, Habiba, to go to school and come back and tell me that my teacher is telling me that, Uncle Fad, I know I'm a female, I'm a lady, but today I can be a boy. That is what I don't want to hear. And that's what exactly this document is trying to do. So I think we need to rise up. Okay. In as much as they recall it, we need to rise up and put some pressure on this government. They said even with the private member bill in their opposition days, this time around they have all the resources. This, my brother here, is a very young upcoming lawyer, very brilliant lawyer. He can even put together a bill and look at it and write it quickly and present it to government. The Attorney General is there, his deputies are there, government have lawyers within them. We have fine lawyers in the NDC. They should quickly put together a bill, let's take it to Parliament and pass it. If the hits then they kept on us in opposition, it was right then. I think it is only fair that today, if the shoe is on the other foot, we should call on them. Then they should stop hiding behind these things. These are very dangerous than even the laws they were trying to push on our necks. Okay. These are more dangerous because this is how we're going to teach our kids. And you tell me that, oh, this is not the main documents. Have you forgotten that the teacher is standing in front of the class has every right, or has the how do I put it, the potentials, or has all the resources and all the opportunities to put these beliefs in the minds of our children? That's the danger of it, my brother. It is very dangerous, and I'm very concerned because of President Mohammed's remarks in his first week when he took over. That's where my concerns comes from. If he had not made these remarks in the past, I don't think I would be much bothered. Now I'll just say this is an oversight. I will have considered it as an oversight. But if President Mohammed made those claims first week in administration, and today we are seeing this document, do you think it's by accident? Okay. It's not by any means accident. It is deliberate, it is calculated, it is an attempt this government wants to promote LGBTQ+ by all means necessary through our education system, and we all need to rise up and stop them from putting this country through this barbaric act. It is immoral. We need to stop it. You can do it in your room. I don't look there. I'll be very honest on this. I don't look there, but don't bring it into our classrooms and teach our kids to tell them that you were born as a female, you were born as a boy, but today being Wednesday. Can you imagine? So imagine somebody has been arrested, right, for engaging in any other unlawful act, and is to be sentenced to prison. And he tells you that, oh no, me, after the court has given a ruling, I'm a man, right? I choose to be a woman. So take me to a female prison. Are you serious, my brother?
Very well. Thank you, Thad. Let me move on to Julius. Julius, I believe you totally disagree with what he's saying. Based on the words of His Excellency the President, you think it has any correlation to this?
No, it has no correlation whatsoever. And then my brother said that we should dispense with politics and deal with the issue from a nationalistic perspective after having engaged in a lot of politics. But I will indulge him on the matter of putting politics aside. This is a matter of policy. And we want to first of all begin from understanding what is government policy. How does government policy come about? Government policy is what the president essentially thinks should be the direction of the country, guided by his cabinet, if you look at Article 76 of our Constitution. And within the framework of NACA, in this particular issue, what would constitute government's educational policy? Whether or not the statement out there constitutes a government position on the matter, we must answer that question. The next thing we must answer is the timelines for which this so-called teacher manual came into being. The timeline was the 2024-2025 academic year, which means all conversations with regard to the development of that manual happened under the MPP administration. If you look at the statement of NACA, there is a particular column for timelines of the various activities. And for our purposes, and if you would permit me, I would want to read it to our audience. Manual development and timelines. The statement said that the new curriculum was introduced at the SHS level in the 2024-2025 academic year. For the first time in the history of Ghana, a decision was taken for the teacher manuals to be developed to aid teachers in the implementation of the new curriculum. NACA, therefore, empaneled subject-specific writing teams in collaboration with Transforming Teacher Education and Learning to develop the manual in 2024. In 2024, for crying out loud, who was the president of this republic? Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who was the Minister of Education, Educhum, guided by our Constitution on how government policy is formulated. particularly on the fact that acts which are done by the minister are deemed by Article 59 of the Constitution to be acts of the President. If the Ministry of Education in 2024 presided over the development of this manual, who developed it? It was the President Akufo-Addo government, and as a matter of policy, it should be ascribed to them. Now, as a matter of policy of John Dramani Mahama in our administration, you would see again in that statement that I read to you that it was subjected to a review by our administration because our administration disagreed with that content. And it is because if you look at NACA's mandate, particularly if you are guided by the Educational Regulatory Bodies Act 2022, Act 1023, particularly sections 104 of that act, if you look at B and I of that subsection, it will tell you that NACA is supposed to develop educational policies guided by the values of this country, a reflection of the obligation on all state institutions.
Which they emphasized in the letter that was...
Exactly, which is emphasized in this. Guided by Article 39 of the Constitution, the directive principles of state policy, that educational values must be developed based on Ghanaian cultural values, which has long been the position of President John Dramani Mahama. And if you see the review that was done, there is a clear distinction. And for our purposes, I would have tendered it to you, but for our purposes, because Fahad is the one who has decided to abandon policy and do politics, I'll tender it to him. For our purposes, this was what was developed under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the definition, which was printed. So what is being recalled is not a government policy being recalled. It is physical documents printed under the 2024 activities that was engaged in by NACA under your administration that was printed and being recorded. This is this. I'm tendering it to you. Then secondly, after the review under the NDC administration, this is the definition of gender under the NDC administration. It says gender, it refers to the binary categories of male and female determined at birth and behavioral, cultural, and physical traits typically associated with each. Please, I'm tendering it to you as well. So what is the policy of President President John Dramani Mahama that he's talking about here? How is government policy formulated? I have been clear about that. About the same principles which I have outlined on the formulation of government policy and the determination of same being at the doorsteps of the President of the Republic, and by reason of Article 59 of the Constitution, his ministers and appointees, when they append their signatures to something, is deemed to be an act of the President by reason of same, as compared to them under them. A bill was literally passed in the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. That bill was transmitted to the President of the Republic of Ghana, then Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The President of the Republic of Ghana locked the doors of Jubilee House, directed the Clerk of Parliament by letter written by his then Executive Secretary, Mr. Asante Bedietu, saying that, I quote, desist from coming to the Jubilee House. That is government policy. Determinations that are made by the President on a subject matter. That was their policy. That desist from any attempt to entrench Ghanaian values.
Julius, give me a minute. I'll come back. No, I'll come back. No, I'll come back. Listen to me. I'll come back.
With assurances that you are coming back.
Yes, Peter is going somewhere. I need to engage in a bit. So give me a few minutes.
Don't allow him.
Let me engage Peter. Dr. Peter Antipate is actually the Executive Director, Institute for Education Studies. Peter, good morning, if you can hear me. Hello? Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm grateful for your time this morning here on the show.
Welcome, sir.
Great. First of all, how did we get here? Who regulates this? Who ensures that some of these things do not find themselves in where they have found themselves right now?
Thank you very much. First of all, let me say that this is an issue that did not fit the political dimension that we are taking. Sometimes we make our discussions a little bit unfortunate.
Absolutely.
Because those of us who have worked on the curriculum, and if you check the list, you will see that the course team, I led it. So I understand the processes more than some of the people that are trying to explain them. You would realize that when we developed the curriculum around 2022 thereabout, we realized that there was a challenge with the basic school standard-based curriculum that was produced, and that was the lack of textbooks. So we said that we should continue to develop a manual and a learner manual that was designed to enable the students continue with their education when the curriculum sentence before a public part who are so that they develop someone. Now, when it is happened, we have to prepare the curriculum. So it has to be with the content of the manual. The first person text is a correct.
Doc. Hello, Doc. Can you reposition yourself a bit for us? We're not getting a better flow of you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Let's see if it's better.
So the point I'm making is that everything that is in the teacher manual emanated from the curriculum. The reason why we have what we are having is that the teacher manual was supposed to be a one-stop point for the teacher. So in developing the common teacher manual, for example, you try to assemble a lot of documents and then you get up a test so that as the teacher to plan a lesson, you have to read multiple documents before you are able to prepare his notes and other things. So what the manual is doing is to do that work for the teacher. I think that in an attempt to gather information from different sources, the experts that wrote the teacher manual pick that definition from the Western world, and then it found itself in this got nothing to do with MPP NDC. It is just a problem of quality assurance. What needed to have been done was that the technical team that reviewed the manual should have flagged it, and then they would have reviewed or changed it because it would have been seen that didn't fall within the context of the society that you are developing the manual for. But that is what the technical team and the review team did not do. And that is why we are here. So when I hear people talk about NDC and MPP, I think that we should tone down on these things. And there is a little bit circumstance in the way we discuss some of these things. It is the experts. If you look at the manual, the names are there. Those who developed this manual, their names are there. And all of us who developed any manual for the SHS curriculum, our names are there. It is just a quality assurance challenge that those who were supposed to review the manual after it was developed by the technical experts did not do that particular. And that is why NACA is recalling this thing out and then making the needed challenges. What has this got to do with MPP, NDC, and this? Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Doc, so you mentioned this. So this has been in the system for clearly what, a year or two?
The teacher manuals were released in batches. So they released the first year and then they released the second year. The process, the development of the teacher manual, as I said, it's a process. The process started around 2022 because it started with the development of the curriculum. And then after the curriculum is developed, you now develop the teacher manual out of the curriculum. And I remember the last time I worked on the teacher manual was around 2023, 2024 for the economics. And that was even the second year that we because they are now running it out in budget. So this is around 2024, thereabout, that we did the second year. The third year, I think, is still under construction.
All right. So what will be the impact of this on the children? I mean, it clearly has been around for a year. Is it going to be grave in terms of the impact?
So the first point is that is it reflected in the curriculum? That is the point I'm trying to make. If it is reflected in the physical education curriculum, that means that the students have been taught extensively about this. I have checked. It is not reflected. It is this definition that were picked by the experts that was put in the manual. It means that the problem is with this definition. And if we are able to review it as has been said, that is not supposed to create any difficult situation for any students in our educational institutions.
But Doc, we also...
Please, let me finish.
Okay.
As I said, I have expert knowledge on this than most people.
I understand.
Let me finish the point I'm making. Let me finish. Okay. It is a strand in the curriculum, a whole topic that is being treated. That would be a different situation. It is a definition that has been put in there. I am saying that by reviewing that definition, we are good to go. That is the point I'm making. The definition might have been, given to the students, but let's also understand that if the teacher is minded to go back and then explain into detail why this definition is faulty, as we always do as teachers, this will not be a big deal. Let us not make this a big deal.
Yeah, I understand. The reason I wanted to ask again is the fact that, yes, you may not want to make it a big deal from a teacher's perspective, but students are different in terms of what they receive or what they've been taught. And so it's still somewhat a bit of a worry. But you've explained that. You've explained that. So, no, if... Yeah, yes, I'm listening.
That is, you are right.
Exactly.
You not have
teacher and student relationship.
That's the first point I've made.
Yes, I understand your explanation, but what I'm...
That did not do a good job, because your curriculum development and teacher manual development is supposed to fit within the confines of the culture and the society of the people who are developing the document for. So that is failure on their part. But the point I make is that when things are seen, there are remedies to it in the system. And by reviewing it and then the teacher going to explain to the students that the initial destination that was given them was a little bit faulty, I think that would be that would be enough remedy to deal with it, especially because this is not a strand or an indicator in the curriculum that the students will need to learn and then imbibe before they can progress to other topics. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, so Doc, in your opinion, the record will do a lot of good.
Exactly. All that they need to do is to take this thing from the system and then do the revision. As I said, this is about the definition. So if they're able to do that, I think Naka said they are doing that. That should be enough for us. But please, as I said earlier on, some of these things, let us take the politics out of it. It is becoming so disappointing.
Very well. Thank you very much, Doc, for joining us this morning and sharing this with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Great. And that's Dr. Peter Antipati. He's the Executive Director, Institute for Education Studies, joining us this morning here on the issue. Maybe you have about 2 minutes to wrap it up on your point.
KMJ.
Yeah.
I agree.
Maybe we've got some clarity from Doc as well.
Of course. And the clarity we've gotten doesn't help attempts to make partisan political capital out of the matter, because it even makes opposition's case worse if they want to tread that path.
I think we've all
want to continue
on from that.
Of course, but certain things must be put back into perspective. I insisted that for a subject matter to be government policy, it is a procedural matter. Doc has been clear on all of those processes. For it to be attributed to a particular government as its policy, it must be that government adopting it. Everything NACA does is subject to approval of the minister. In fact, if you read the act, they make recommendations to the minister. It is when the minister adopts it, that is when, by effect of Article 59 of the Constitution, it becomes the government's policy. The critical question then becomes that if the opposition insists that they want to attribute this issue as a political matter to the John Dramani Mahama administration, then the timelines become significant to the conversation. You heard Doc. Doc said that the process began in 2022. KMJ, who was president of the Republic of Ghana in 2022? John Dramani Mahama? Really? We would contest this fact as well? Sanity requires that we all agree that the president of Ghana in 2022 was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Sanity also requires that in 2024, when Doc said that the process was concluded and this manual became effective in 2024, sanity requires again that we all admit Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was the president of this republic. By what stretch of imagination? What manner of preposterous presumptions would lead anyone to a conclusion that this is a policy of John Dramani Mahama on this platform? Why are we doing this to ourselves?
Okay.
And in any case,
in wrapping up, Julius,
I must say the points of agreement that I have with my brother on this subject matter, not only in the points of disagreement. On the subject matter of the thing appearing in the curriculum, I did, not the curriculum, sorry, the teacher's manual.
Yeah.
There has been an attempt by MNACA to draw a distinction between the manual and the curriculum. I find that problematic. When students come to the classroom, students even at most don't even follow they don't know anything about the curriculum. It is what teachers instruct them that they actually take as gospel, especially at that level, year 2. It is what the teacher instructs that they take as gospel. So putting something like that in the teacher's manual and saying that by merely drawing a manual, a curriculum dichotomy, then you solve the problem. No. So what we must actually, commend now is the effort of the minister in ensuring that this thing was reviewed when we took the administration. Then secondly, in now NACA recalling these things from the system. That is what we must all accept as a policy issue. We should not come here and try to make political capital out of a subject matter that, if we want to subject it to strict politics, would be at your doorsteps.
Okay.
We should not do that. We should not be doing that to ourselves.
KMJ, quick one, just a minute or two. My brother here gave us this document. I don't know if your cameras will capture it. I believe he claims I've shared it with your producers. So if they can share it on their screen.
It is not my document. It is NACA's document. So everybody has it. It can be verified.
No, this is
NACA's document. You have
look at the two documents.
Yeah.
Look at where it has been highlighted. Read the two documents.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's agenda. It refers to a binary categories of male and female determined. Okay, it's on the screen.
Yeah, for our purposes, this is after the review.
Let me finish. Determined at birth, and the behavioral, cultural, and psychological traits typically associated with each.
Yeah.
So this
for our purposes, this is after the review.
He claims it's after the review.
Yes.
Have you seen that one too? Have you seen the one he claims is after the review? Have you seen it?
Yes.
Have you seen the documents yourself?
Yes.
The entire document.
The one he claims after the review.
Yeah.
He's the one claiming.
No, we don't have
No,
that.
this is the document.
Have you seen it?
But this,
So can you
this is the
authenticate?
document.
No, please. There are two. Look at the documents showing on your screen.
One is talking about the present one
the
that
present
has
one,
an
yes.
issue
What has been
relating
reviewed.
to
And
what has been reviewed. So it's two
Yes.
documents.
So we have the two documents.
Yes, this is the one after the review. This is after the review.
You mean the
No, which one is the first one? Who is the first one? Which one?
This is the one after the review.
Your producers have
After
the
the
one
review.
before as
Yeah.
well. The one that
Have you
are
seen the document after the review?
It's on their website. It's over there. Everybody can access
So
it.
they
In
posted-
NACA statement.
they
It's on their website.
In fact, it was part of the-
When we deny
So it's-
clear
my brother,
evidence of facts on the
So it's-
platform,
my brother, you said nobody should talk.
hold on. All features of Visions Bowl be reflected in a digital version available at the official portal, which they have put over here.
So can we? You see, the purpose of this discussion. You see, Doctor came in to he gave a very good an insight, right?
And he actually went on it.
respectfully.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
and he admitted a review.
See, respectfully, to play these discussions out of the context, that's the political context, is that we've not been fair to the entire discussions. I'll come there and I've given you
Who
my brother, respectfully. Oh, please, don't do this.
No.
He said others should not talk when you're talking.
Do you want
Have
to
you
go
seen
back?
that? I'm not going back. I'm not going back. Have you seen the original document? No,
Ashok.
respectfully.
It's not helping.
I
The timeline
represent
is
a
on
political view. I represent a political view on this.
Not on the national interest.
Please, respectfully. And I need to give a context and a background. I read out what President Mahama said as far back January 2025 when he took over. So sometimes you need to be worried. If you coming from government this morning, is okay with that, fine. But the concerns are that these documents, and you see, my second worry is what one doctor said, those who were supposed to review the documents, that's a huge blow. A huge blow on policy development. You've developed a policy, and those who were supposed to review that policy didn't do their work. And yet it went out there, and it's in the public domain.
In what year?
Oh, please, respect
In
me,
what
my
year?
brother.
As Doc stated, in year 2022 and 2024. So who is responsible? Who are you trying to blame? For your mess?
You claim not we should keep quiet when you speak.
But the facts must be stated.
We do that for you.
In 2024.
KMJ, respectfully, we do that for him. If you can,
In 2024, do you deny that?
Please.
He said, Doc said that. You deny that.
Let him finish.
No,
go ahead.
So we have a government. This government has been in office for 13 good months now, right? This is the 13th month. And you still sit here proudly and boldly tells our viewers out there that a document that started, and a process that started in 2022, and as Doctor indicated, the process is still ongoing.
He said the review
No, please.
is ongoing.
The process is still...
The process of what?
Yeah. At what point was the curriculum concluded?
He gave three stages. The stage 1 started in 2022, 2024. Stage 2 started, and as we speak, stage 3 is still ongoing. That's what the doctor indicated on your platform here. So if governance is continuous, and policy direction of every government will be directed by the main ideas of the government, you don't sit here after 1 year in government and still tell me that even if you want to play the political football with these issues, the MPP is to be blamed for it. It clearly indicates that you as a government, in 12 months or 13 months in your administration, still lacks the understanding of what you people are doing. That is the clear explanation you've given this morning. With all the English and you've spoken this morning, is to say that as a government, you lack the understanding of the issues on ground, and you still want to blame President Akufo-Addo, who is now sitting in his house this morning enjoying his breakfast. It's very unfortunate. But the point is, I'll still emphasize on it again. Teaching our kids on some of these issues. Respectfully, Doctor, policies are policies. But to tell me that this is teacher's manual, it does not get its way into the classroom, honestly speaking, it's not true. I had the opportunity to my secondary school I attended. I had an economics teacher who had a different political views from mine. And trust me, in classroom, he find a way in trying to inculcate some of those views into students. And I don't think those views were presented to him in any form of teacher's manual. So respectfully, teacher, doctor, we do admit and we do appreciate the works you do. But we should also downplay the fact that these documents in the hands of any teacher who has any motive to promote this activity will not say that because it's a teacher's manual, I'm not mandated to teach the kids. The teacher will go ahead and teach them.
Okay.
You get that? So we should not downplay. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Rich.
Thank you very much.
The doctor also made mention of something that I feel. In fact, I wanted to know, the impact this would make in terms of the student. And he mentioned that, if we're able to, as it were, go back again and let these students understand that, okay, there was a mistake in what we did for the first introduction of whatever we said based on this one, we'll be able to make some impact. Knowing how we're able to push our own, even the NCC, how they've been able to actually push ideas about how government wants to do things and all of those things, civic education and all of those things becoming a problem. You think that what the doctor is saying is something we can easily correct, knowing students, for that matter?
Sincerely, some of the conversations we're having this morning baffles my mind. Because if the president, John Dramani Mahama, said that the very most important thing that we have to do is about how we educate our wards or our children on the basic level to understand the values and principles and understand the clear definition of gender and not to allow such LGBTQ to fester, I don't really find any fault with that. Because obviously, everything boils down to education. Everything boils down to how you prune your children, because that is their formative age. So whatever you imbibe in them is what is going to grow with them. So as a matter of fact, that statement the president made, if as a citizen and I were to be the president, I would have also said same. Because if you educate the people from the very inception, what is the need for even passing a bill? Because it is something that society would have frowned on it from the very inception of your growth. That's why I say, Enchira Kola Nyami. Is that not the case? Enchira Kola Nyami. Even if you are a Muslim, nobody teach you about the values and principles of Islam. The moment you are growing, you were born into it. So obviously, you understand what the values and principles of Islam is all about. The same way you understand the values and principles of Christianity, once you are growing up and you are developing into an adult. So, this issue again beats my mind when we talk about systemic failure. We have been having so many systemic failure in terms of how we do things intelligently as a group of people. If we have been able to deploy intelligent mechanisms, we shouldn't be wasting about 1 hour of our precious airtime this morning talking about a teacher's manual that is having a warped definition about gender. Because which people work on it? So you realize that even doctor admitted that the technical team who worked on the manual, they should be blamed. All the blame should be heaped on their head, not government. Because as a matter of fact, the president cannot micromanage everything in this country. He can't. The president can't do so. He can't do so. He cannot micromanage everything. That is why you have people in sensitive positions that are responsible for managing this institution and rendering account to him. When we had our former president, I like Nana Akufo-Addo so much. You know why I like him? I like him because of his tenacity. Okay? Regardless of all the mud that was thrown at him, his persona and everything, he stood his ground, he believed in himself, and eventually became the president of the republic. And I like such things because I emulate them, because I like people who have courage and tenacity, that no matter what you throw at them, they can be able to brush it off and still achieve what? Their dream. And I like him for that. But you see, when he was appointing 120-something ministers, what did he tell us? He told us that he needed them to work in various places for him, because he knew very well that at the tail end of his administration, the 126 that he appointed, the works they do will justify and the reason why he had that number, that simply should tell you that he knew very well that he cannot micromanage everything. So if today we sit here and deliberately want to heap it on the president and the government that, look, something that they say they started developing in 2022 through to 2023. My question that best for answer is that which year exactly was the manual printed?
Okay, talking about that.
2025.
No,
2025. Check the printing, copyright printing. 2025.
Rich, talking about that. Let me speak to the former deputy PRO
and ask him,
Ministry of Education.
which year was this particular manual printed?
2025. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Great. Please, the problem we have right now, maybe I would ask you, the problem we have right now is what dates? Doc gave us some explanation on that. Can you also emphasize on that for me?
I didn't hear much of what he said, but if it's about the curriculum.
Yes, the period that we had this curriculum in the system.
Okay, so the physical education and health curriculum for senior high schools, SHS 1 to 3, have September 2023 done. But what we need to appreciate is that the training manual, which is in two components now, has the first aspect, which is the first component developed in September before 2024. But with regards to the one that is in question now, nothing to do with the previous government. It was only done by the current administration. Each insertion, everything that
and which this was 2025.
Yeah, the one that
we are having issues with, it was done in 2025.
Yeah, exactly. That's the second component. The first component was done in 2024. This second component is only done by this current administration.
All right. So what goes into it? Who sits with who? We understand some technical teams are involved in this, and probably they didn't do a good job with that. But from your position, what? Because you've been there, you've seen how the processes have been so far.
Even if a technical are put together to work on that, it goes through a review and assessment process. And per what I know from the NACA outfit, once that technical work is done, the assessors also go through to see whether if it meets what the curriculum specifically specifies. The curriculum that I'm referring to is what we previously used to know as syllabus. And the syllabus is what is used in preparing the training manual and the content that is used in teaching. And therefore, to get a fair understanding as to what the curriculum seeks to achieve, you can go on NACA website to download the physical and education of curriculum for senior high schools. And you get to understand the basic element in there, what the curriculum seeks to achieve. There is no mention or any semblance or any item describing an LGBTQ in the curriculum itself that was developed in 2023. And if you pick the training material, which was developed in 2024 for the first year, it has no insertion or any line item which presupposes an understanding of any gender, sexuality, etc. But specifically for the second year, that line item specifically for the second year is developed in 2025 by the current administration with the current NACA leadership at the helm of affairs, putting technical people together to develop that. I can only speak to what we did in 2024. And therefore, any confusion in there cannot arise because it has nothing to do with the first printout or with the first manual that was done. The second manual is solely done by the current administration under the leadership of Honorable Haruna Idrisu. And therefore, if we have questions, I think we need to get NACA or the Ministry of Education to speak to it, specifically why that line item, of which you can't get any line item in the curriculum itself. Why do we have an insertion in the training manual? And they should be able to provide answers to that. I've seen a publication of a recall.
Yeah, they've issued a statement to that effect, yeah.
Yes, so what it tells that there shouldn't be any debate as to what the previous government did. It is solely done, the printing, everything done by the current administration. What I know for sure was that after even the NACA Director General has done his review and the team, the Minister for Education, Dr. Yosiedu then, will have his own review done. He did every review of every material which came out to see whether if it's in line with
the stated policy and the curriculum itself. That I can assure you what due diligence the former minister was doing, especially with regards to materials that were coming out. So this is how the process was.
Okay.
And I think with specifically on this, the current administration can speak to. It has nothing to do with the previous administration. We only did the first year training manual, not the second year training manual.
Very well, Opoku Mensah. Thank you so much for the clarity on that.
Thanks
as
for
well.
the opportunity.
All right. That's Opoku Mensah, the former deputy PRO for the Ministry of Education.
30 seconds.
Yeah, please do that. Let me read some comments.
I would have wished that once we are speaking to the former, is it the PRO?
Yeah, deputy PRO.
Deputy PRO. I would have also wished you speak to the current PRO of the Ministry of Education, if possible.
Yes, my producers will try and
if possible. If possible. But let us.
Opoku was watching and he wanted
yes,
to
you see, as a country, let us be very meticulous and pay attention to details, because you see, we keep humiliating ourselves with such insignificant issues. Are you getting the point? We should pay attention to detail. That's why we have PhD holders, we have technocrats, and all manner of people occupying various sensitive positions in our ministries. So for them to turn out a document that will bring about all this brouhaha, I think it is not proper. If due diligence was done, what do they really want to achieve? If due diligence was done, we shouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. So I would only want to plead that the government should also demonstrate the goodwill that, yes, really, they are bent on ensuring that we don't allow LGBTQ to fester in our... And I believe that JM, as an individual, wouldn't condone such a thing because of his Christian background. But I don't know whether there are so much external forces at play, for which reason we cannot do anything on our own. But today, Goldboard is doing magic. So if Goldboard can give you $10 billion, why would you still want to be compromised for somebody to say, I can give you $1 billion, therefore you should promote LGBTQ in your schools?
Let's engage our viewers a bit. So this one says, good morning. Eben from Kwabenya. The leadership of NACA should be very careful and not repeat such unnecessary tension for us to be discussing every time. Mr. President JDM, we beg you, those at NACA must go, because they are doing everything possible to destroy our education to syllables with LGBTQ. Greetings to Honorable MC Yago of Ga East and Nana Ampim. And let me go to another message. This one is coming from NAP, I think. Okay, so it's Alasan Sisse from Zenus Interest. Says, good morning to everyone. In Ghana, everything is about politics. Even when things are clear to us, still some confused MPP members still trying to make political capital out of them when their party is collapsing, and with all the sharp brains that they claim they have, they can continue to be shaking the few members that are left in the party. Who cares? You meant sacking, by the way. What the NPP should be doing is to urge the fugitive Ken Ofori to come back and assist in the accounting for his stewardship if they themselves believe he has done nothing wrong. That's sending in that one. Let me go to another one over here. This one is coming from... Okay, so it says, good morning, KMJ. In 2011, NDC received UNFPA funds to introduce comprehensive sexual education into Ghana's basic education curriculum. The plan was to roll it out from 2016 with a draft manual ready by then. Teachers and stakeholders were trained before NPP took office in 2017. NPP government was accused of introducing CSE when it became public, despite it being part of the previous curriculum. NDC promised to remove that in their 2020 manifesto, repeated it in 2024. John Mahama promised to remove CSE, saying it's parents' responsibility. NDC is now in office 2026 and has introduced CSE in a teacher manual 2025. CSE includes teaching on gender identity, covering male, female, or blended identities. This contradicts Mohammed's previous stance on CSE being parents' responsibility. The move has raised questions about the NDC's U-turn and silence on LGBTQ. All right. Akonsi Gariba from Tamale says, good morning, KMJ. Why is the NDC administration taking Ghanaians for granted? Why is the NDC administration introducing LGBTQ in the SHS teacher's manual after making so much noise about it in the opposition? Where is the 133 jobs for Ghanaians, which they claimed it was a game changer? I'm highly disappointed in the NDC administration for using the above to win power in Ghana and ended up doing nothing to solve it. All right, let me go to the next one over here. And it says that we are struggling to bring to Ghana the former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, who does not have dual citizenship. So the Constitutional Review Committee's proposal to allow people with the citizenship to take high office in Ghana is a bad one. Patrick in Accra sent in that one. This one over here says that, let me go down. Dear KMJ, I tune into Newsflash anytime you are hosting. While I fully excited by the sterling performance of Mohammed's administration, I am not as enthused about the fight against Galamsey, though there is no silver bullet solution in fighting Galamsey. LI2462 has been repealed, but still there's mining going on under the guise of licensed small-scale mining in the Mirawa Forest Reserve in the BBNE shares. So the Kwai municipality in the Western North region. So NIMOS should take notice and take action about the NPP party. Is like what happened in Genesis 11:5 when God saw the evil plans of the people. God changed their languages and brought confusion to their efforts. That's the state of the NPP. Now, good morning, dear Charles Champon in Seshi Jibre in the Western North region. Okay, do well to tune in on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for News Flash as well, all right? Rosalie is also on Mondays and Tuesdays as well, so do well and be part of that also. Very insightful conversation she also has with the guests as well. Good morning. Do you have to mention my full name? What's this? Dachi watching from Jumako. It says, Father is just making noise without saying anything beneficial. How on earth do you blame JDM on this subject matter? Come on, bro. Thank God for Dr. Peter Antipati has cleared the air. They said deflation has been withdrawn. So what's the problem with my NPP noisemaker in your studio? How can something that started in 2022 be blamed on the current president's administration? And why is Mr. Opoku telling us not to blame the former administration when it started in their time? Let's build this country together with integrity and dignity and not blind partisan politics. All right, let me go to Nanabi. Nab is somewhere. Nab says, good morning, KMJ. The NDC are simply playing with the minds of Ghanaians with the introduction of LGBT into our curriculum. No wonder they are silent on the LGBT matter as they are in power. They were so loud in opposition only to turn around and promote the lesbians and gays activities. That's Nab sending in that as well. Let me go to Sami. In a Samanka says the implementation of the 24-hour economy, a key promise by the NDC and Mohammed's leadership, is eagerly awaited by Ghanaians. The recent expulsion of Professor Frimpong Boateng from the party is a positive step. It is disheartening to see individuals who benefit from the party's power turn against it with disparaging remarks. I urge the leadership to extend this approach to anyone who undermines the party. The NDC's reliance on Galamsey activities, the LGBT, to win elections with CSOs raises questions about their stance now and the whereabouts of these supporters. The NPP will likely regain power thanks to leaders like Dr. Brian Echampo and Samuel Osei Sarkodie. All right, so those are your comments that you've sent to us this morning here on the show. We're grateful to you for sending them through. Now we're done for today, but I'm going to take your very last comments and then we're going to just 1 minute each. I'll start with you, John.
Monday, I saw people extended this show to 8:30. You know, hey.
Wait, on Monday.
Monday.
Thanks.
No, wait.
We are
days.
done. We are not. When we can do 7:50 km. So we are done.
There are days that we have.
But when Madam Roselyn is hosting there, maybe now we have to be choosing Madam Roselyn over you. Today we are too strict. Okay.
Because sometimes we are very heavy lineup with commercials, interviews, and all of that.
Yeah, but Madam Roselyn still, but for you,
Mondays are always open, so yeah.
Men are not flexible at all.
Men don't like men. Waiting man.
Like Madam Roselyn, you should give her to 9 crowns.
Yeah, Julius.
Yeah, but I would be happy if your producers can project the NACA statement for me, because all the points I'm going to make is important.
No, you don't have much time too.
KMG. You have only 1 minute to do
I know.
I'll read only one line. If you would be fair, if you would be fair with me, sure. No problem. If you would be fair with me, it's fine.
Come and buy time. Government, come and buy time and explain your point.
Why should we buy time? The issues, you don't have them. You don't have the issues.
Okay.
See, if you followed the NACA statement,
NACA
was explicit about the timelines in which the body that came up with this manual was constituted and the timeline in which their work was concluded on the matter. It's over there. The timelines are clearly over there. They are not
2024-2025 academic year.
Good. They are not my statements. For a document to be ready for printing for 2024-2025 academic year, conclusions of that work should have been done in 2024. No. An academic year that starts in 2024 into 2025, a document for its purpose, cannot be ready in 2025. At what point was the printing done? It can only be printed in 2024 if work was concluded on it in 2024. Who supervised that process? I am not for politicizing the subject matter. But if we are going to make political capital out of it, then the right duty bearers must be called out. You don't seek to single out an administration that has taken over something from you for purposes of governance being a continuum and try to label us as the one presiding over this. As a matter of policy, the NDC's policy on this matter is clear to every single Ghanaian. Let NACA do its job. Let its technical committees do its job. But if you want to ascribe responsibility as a political subject matter, then the timelines become very relevant, and I am saying that the timelines do not bear you out. Simple as that.
Okay. Third.
KMJ, thank you very much. I believe
you have 1 minute.
This morning, our viewers will bear with us that my brother here from government came here to whitewash the issues.
Oh, really?
Run away from, please,
whitewash.
Run away from what the real issues are. Because if you tell me that these issues we should not, to some extent, we should not politicize this, then you've not been fair to our viewers, because you made a big political capital out of it in 2024. So it is only fair we do continue the discussions. But also, before I end KMJ, I believe my brother who called in to give more details has thrown more light on this matter. I'm not going to go back to it again. Viewers will make their own judgment. But KMJ, this is the challenge I'm still throwing. My brother from government this morning showed us these two documents. I am still insisting. This document is the original document. No, this one is the original document. This one is an edited document from government to whitewash the issues.
And I'm telling you,
this is not a review document. This is a document they have done. There's no document. This document does not exist. This document does not exist. This document does not exist. It does not exist. They just edited. They just edited the portion. They just edited the portion that captures the definition of gender, and they decided to cut some part of it and print this document for us.
That is a subject of review.
This is what. See, please, the review is not done yet. Don't do this to us. You are not being honest. You are not being honest. You sit here, lie through your teeth, present documents that are forged. This document.
You are saying that the Ministry of Education is forcing its own policy.
In any serious environment, you need to be picked up this morning. You come here, present documents that you cannot authenticate.
This document is from the Ministry of Education, posted by the Deputy Minister himself. How do you say that? So the Deputy Minister is forging its own policy.
The documents are forged.
See, my friend,
his argument is that
this is from the Ministry of Education. The Deputy Minister, if you doubt me, project his page this morning. In fact, from last night when
people sharing fake documents are telling us.
So the minister, my brother, you don't.
A whole government relying on fake documents.
The minister is fake documents. What do you mean by that?
Whitewashing.
In fact, let me wrap up.
Wrap up on what again?
Richard. No, he's done. Richard.
Wrap up on what again?
My brother may be right, may be wrong. But you see, if you are talking about editing or you are talking about the review, it can be that everything here is good enough, except for a small portion.
Precisely.
So that doesn't mean that you need to change words.
Where is the original document?
Change anything. His position is that if you look this and look this, it's virtually like the same. Only the
yes, it is. Please.
This argument cannot really hold because
Julius, these were printed.
It is printed from what is the review document.
Where is the review document?
Oh, please. When you ask me a question, you allow me to answer.
From the website.
They ask me a question, you allow me to answer.
From the website.
Yes, from NACA's website. And the statement, please. And the statement. What do you mean by that? If I am subjecting a document to
I'm sure
if I'm
you can
subjecting
look
a
into
document
it
to
further
review,
and get it.
yes.
I want to be
So let me just
Yes,
do my
I'm saying
last
that this
job.
document is on the NACA website. It has been posted. It has been posted this morning. Oh, please, you said I should respond to a question. I'm responding and you are turning away.
No, Richard, you had your time.
You had your time. You get the document, so I must make the point.
Oh, government build on lies and
Exactly. So let me. Please.
Allow him to.
Please, be fair. You asked a question. The point must be clear.
I'll give you my 30 seconds.
I said,
Let me just
print these.
Yes, and I am saying that one. It is on the minister's page as we speak. It is on the NACA website. The
That's all I want.
Please, you don't. Let me. You ask me a question.
Allow them to do their work. Allow them to do their work.
Let me make you ask me a question. Let me just conclude. You don't cut me in the middle and say that you are done. It's not a courtroom. We are shaping opinions. It's not a courtroom. Please, senior. Yes, and I said that it is on the website. And if you check the minister, let me conclude. All this time we are using, I would have concluded. Be fair.
Let me conclude.
Now, two things here. We are saying that the review document is on the page. We are reviewing this. This is the definition that you have left. The one that has to do with the one that has to do with multiple identities.
That document was printed 2025.
If the document we are reviewing, the only subject matter is the definition. Why is he saying that the whole thing must have different wording?
I never said the whole thing. The document does not exist.
My admonition to my brothers and to everybody that let us be minded
less politics
of education and politics. Because for instance, if you want to politicize it, we cannot say that one is better than the other. We can't say that NPP did a good job when it comes to the fight against LGBT, and now the new government that is in the power is festering it or is trying to promote it by inculcating a definition in a teacher's manual. Are you getting the point? Let us try to do conversation devoid of politics. All we can say is that let us build a society that we can bequeath to a next generation and let them understand that these are the positive side of things and these are the negative side of things. But if we play politics with it in its entirety, we may be losing value. But again, it goes to NACA. And it goes, when you look at it, they say they are supposed to edit, they are supposed to verify, they are supposed to review, they are supposed to do so many things. But I don't understand why NACA will sit down, this document will come into the public domain, then now they are putting out statements. That is my only problem with government institutions. They don't do due diligence, they are not meticulous enough in anything they do. All they are interested in a salary increment. When you increase their salaries to, it is the same approach they deploy every day. It is not good for the image of the country.
Well.
And we need to stick to it and let them stop it. If not, so they'll be blaming government, everything government. He said, by now, I drinking tea. Perhaps JM is also in the Jubilee House looking at other documents by now.
That'll be our time for this morning. A big thank you to Richard Suma for coming through this morning. I can't believe we used the whole morning. The United Party, Fad Usman represented the NPP as well. And also I had my brother Julius Anthony. For the longest time I haven't seen him, but it's good to see him here this morning. Also representing the NDC. Gentlemen, a big thank you for the time. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise and Koa Natural Fruit Juice for supporting and helping us bring you Newsflash. Newsflash returns, God willing, tomorrow.